Alex, have you ever stopped to think about where all the ingredients for life actually came from? I mean, we're talking about the very first building blocks, not just single-celled organisms, but the actual molecules.
It's a fundamental question that has puzzled scientists and philosophers for centuries. Maya, we often talk about the primordial soup on early Earth, but the idea that those ingredients might have been delivered from space, pristine and ready to go, is truly mind-boggling.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today, because NASA's OSIRIS-REx mission has just delivered something absolutely incredible, actual pieces of asteroid Bennu, and the analysis of these samples is revealing some astonishing secrets about the very origin of life itself. It's like finding the universe's oldest recipe book.
It truly sounds like a cosmic revelation. Maya, the OSIRIS-REx mission, for those unfamiliar, stands for Origins, Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification, and Security Regolith Explorer, and it's been a monumental undertaking, bringing back samples from an asteroid like Bennu, which is essentially a time capsule from the early solar system, gives us an unprecedented look at conditions 4.5 billion years ago.
That's right. And the key here is pristine samples. Unlike meteorites that crash through our atmosphere and can get contaminated or altered by Earth's environment, these Bennu samples were collected and returned to Earth in a completely sealed, untouched state. This means anything they find is genuinely extraterrestrial, which is a game changer for scientific analysis.
So this brings us to the recent findings, specifically from a study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, or PNAS. What exactly did they discover when they peered into these ancient rocks using advanced spectroscopy?
Oh, Alex, this is where it gets truly exciting. They found something stunning. Fragile organic molecules, including amino acid precursors, survived for 4.5 billion years, despite significant water alteration on the asteroid itself. Imagine delicate molecules enduring that kind of cosmic journey and still being intact.
That's an extraordinary level of preservation. Amino acid precursors are the building blocks of proteins, which are absolutely essential for all known life. The fact that these fragile molecules survived billions of years, even with water activity on the asteroid, truly challenges some previous assumptions about how robust these compounds are in space.
Exactly. And it's not just a few stray molecules. The samples contain what scientists are calling a zoo of organics. This includes at least 14 of the 20 amino acids that are used in terrestrial biology, which is incredible when you consider how specific life's chemistry tends to be, along with 19 other amino acids not found in Earth-based life.
So we're talking about a rich, diverse chemical inventory, not just a bare minimum, beyond the amino acids. Were there other types of organic molecules found that are critical for life as we know it?
Absolutely. They also identified all 5 nucleobases found in DNA and RNA, adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, and uracil, which are the fundamental units of genetic information. And on top of that, bioessential sugars like ribose and glucose were also present. It's truly a complete starter kit for biology.
To have amino acids, nucleobases, and sugars all present in a single extraterrestrial sample is groundbreaking. It strongly suggests that asteroids like Bennu could have delivered a substantial portion of the raw chemistry needed to kickstart biology on early Earth, essentially seeding our planet with life's fundamental ingredients.
It truly paints a vivid picture of how Earth might have received its initial chemical endowment. But the study went even further than just identifying these molecules. They used nanoscale infrared and Raman spectroscopy to achieve incredibly high spatial resolutions, down to about 20 nanometers. This allowed them to map the distribution of these organics within the samples.
Nanoscale resolution means they could see where these molecules were located relative to the mineral structures, offering clues about their formation and interaction. What did this ultra-detailed mapping reveal about how these organic compounds and minerals were distributed?
This is another fascinating layer of discovery. The study found that organic compounds and minerals are not uniformly distributed throughout the asteroid. Instead, they cluster into 3 chemically distinct regions: carbonate-rich, aliphatic organic-rich, and nitrogen-containing organic-rich domains. This isn't just a random mix.
That's significant because it implies a much more complex history for Bennu than just a simple homogeneous rock floating through space. These distinct regions suggest that liquid water interacted with different parts of the asteroid under varying conditions, leading to localized alteration rather than a uniform process.
Precisely, it tells us that Bennu wasn't just a dry, inert rock. It had a dynamic internal environment where water flowed, reacted with minerals, and probably played a crucial role in shaping these organic molecules. This complex internal chemistry over billions of years is what allowed these delicate precursors to survive.
So the water activity wasn't necessarily destructive to these fragile organics. In some localized regions, it might have even facilitated their formation or protected them in certain mineral matrices. This nuanced understanding of water's role in extraterrestrial organic chemistry is a huge step forward.
It certainly is. And these findings have profound implications for two major theories: the origin of life on Earth and the panspermia theory. For the origin of life, the presence of such a rich inventory of prebiotic organic molecules in a pristine asteroid sample strongly supports the hypothesis that carbon-rich asteroids like Bennu delivered essential chemical building blocks to early Earth.
This essentially provides robust evidence for the starter kit hypothesis. It suggests that the ingredients for life weren't necessarily generated only on Earth, but were widely available throughout the early solar system and could have been transported to our nascent planet through asteroid impacts.
Exactly. Think of it as Earth receiving regular shipments of raw materials for its biological factory. This means that the conditions necessary for the emergence of life weren't some incredibly rare, isolated event, but potentially a more common occurrence in the early cosmic neighborhood.
And how does this connect to the panspermia theory, which posits that life itself, or at least its precursors, can spread through space from one celestial body to another?
While the findings don't directly prove panspermia, they provide incredibly strong evidence for the extraterrestrial delivery of prebiotic organic molecules. This mechanism is a foundational aspect of many panspermia-related hypotheses. It suggests that asteroids could have seeded Earth with the raw chemistry needed for biology to kickstart, even if not actual living organisms.
So it's not saying little alien microbes hitched a ride, but rather the essential chemical components that could eventually become life were traveling through space on these asteroids. That's a crucial distinction, and the Bennu samples are providing the strongest evidence yet for that particular part of the panspermia puzzle.
Yes, absolutely. It's about the building blocks, not necessarily the fully constructed house, but what's even more intriguing is new research also suggesting that some amino acids in Bennu samples may have formed in icy cold radioactive environments, not just warm liquid water.
That's a significant expansion of our understanding of where and how life's building blocks can arise. It implies that the conditions for forming these essential molecules are much more diverse and widespread than previously thought, potentially increasing the odds of life emerging elsewhere in the universe.
It truly does. One researcher noted that there's much more diversity in the pathways and conditions in which these amino acids can be formed. This means we shouldn't limit our search for life's origins or even extraterrestrial life to only warm, watery environments like those we typically associate with Earth.
This diversified view of chemical origins is truly exciting. It opens up possibilities for life to emerge in environments that we might have previously dismissed as too harsh or unsuitable. But how do these Bennu samples compare to other extraterrestrial materials we've studied, like meteorites? What makes them so special beyond being pristine?
That's an excellent question, and the pristine nature is indeed a huge advantage. Meteorites, as we mentioned, are often contaminated upon Earth's entry. For instance, fragile evaporite minerals found in Bennu are rarely seen in meteorites because they dissolve easily once they encounter Earth's atmosphere and water. The OSIRIS-REx samples avoid all that terrestrial interference.
So we're seeing minerals and chemical structures that are simply too delicate to survive the journey through Earth's atmosphere and subsequent weathering, giving us a truer picture of the asteroid's original composition. That level of purity is invaluable for scientific analysis.
Exactly. It's like comparing a pristine archaeological artifact excavated from a dry tomb to one that's been sitting in a riverbed for centuries. The dry tomb artifact will tell you much more about its original state, and we can also compare Bennu to asteroid Ryugu from which JAXA's Hayabusa 2 mission also returned samples.
Ah, the Japanese mission that brought back its own asteroid samples a few years prior. What were the key commonalities and differences between Bennu and Ryugu, given they're both carbonaceous asteroids from potentially similar regions of the solar system?
While both are carbonaceous asteroids, Bennu samples show some notable differences. For example, they contain approximately 75 times higher ammonia concentrations compared to Ryugu, and Bennu also has roughly twice the abundance of isotopically anomalous organic matter.
75 times higher ammonia and double the anomalous organic matter is a significant difference that suggests these two asteroids, despite both being carbon rich and primitive, experience quite distinct chemical environments or histories in the early solar system.
It truly highlights the incredible diversity of chemical environments within the early solar system, even among similar types of asteroids. Overall, Bennu's compositions align with primitive carbonaceous chondrites, which are some of the oldest and most chemically unaltered meteorites we find, but it also presents unique mineralogy never before observed in extraterrestrial materials.
That unique mineralogy part is particularly interesting. It means that even with all the meteorites we've collected and analyzed over the years, Bennu is still offering up entirely new insights into the building blocks and conditions of our solar system's formation.
It certainly keeps scientists on their toes, and it's important to note that this specific PNAS study on organic mineral assemblages was conducted by a research team at Stony Brook University. Broader analyses of OSIRIS-REx samples are supported by NASA, including grants from the NASA postdoctoral program and the Goddard Space Flight Center, showing a collaborative effort.
So it's a well-funded, collaborative effort that's bringing us these incredible insights. But as with any groundbreaking scientific discovery, there are always nuances and remaining questions. We should steelman both sides here. What are some of the important considerations or unresolved mysteries that still exist, even with these amazing findings?
That's a crucial point, Alex. One of the biggest nuances is distinguishing between the delivery of organic building blocks and the direct delivery of life itself. The samples contain the raw ingredients, but the real mystery is the process by which those organic molecules organize into life and the environment that enables this transformation.
That's a very important distinction to make. Finding the Lego bricks doesn't mean you've found the fully assembled castle. The leap from complex organic chemistry to self-replicating, metabolizing life is still the biggest hurdle, and these samples don't necessarily bridge that gap directly.
Precisely. They give us the what, but the how of abiogenesis, the origin of life from non-living matter, remains one of science's grandest challenges. We now have a much clearer picture of the starting material, but the complex environmental conditions and precise chemical reactions that allowed those materials to self-assemble into life are still under investigation.
Another point of contention often brought up when discussing extraterrestrial organic molecules is chirality, or the handedness of molecules. Life on Earth almost exclusively uses left-handed amino acids. What did the Bennu samples reveal about the handedness of their amino acids?
That's a critical question, and it's one of those areas where the evidence requires careful interpretation. The Bennu samples contain an equal mixture of left and right-handed amino acids, a racemic mixture. This is typical for abiotic chemical synthesis, meaning synthesis that doesn't involve living organisms.
So, if extraterrestrial molecules contributed to Earth's early chemistry, Earth-based processes were likely responsible for the selective advantage of left-handed amino acids, or something happened on Earth to create that chiral preference. The asteroids delivered the raw, unbiased ingredients.
Exactly. The asteroid didn't come with a preference for left or right. This suggests that while the asteroids provided the diverse supply of amino acids, the mechanism that led to the homochirality of life on Earth, the preference for one-handedness over the other, must have occurred on Earth or in a very specific environment after delivery. This is still a very active area of research.
That's a fascinating layer of complexity. It means that even if the building blocks arrived from space, Earth wasn't just a passive recipient, it had its own chemical preferences and evolutionary pathways that shaped the specific kind of life that emerged here. What about alternative origins for Earth's materials? Is it possible that a significant portion formed closer to the Sun or within Earth's own vicinity, challenging the idea of an exclusively outer solar system origin?
That's a valid Steelman point. While asteroid delivery is a compelling mechanism and the Bennu findings strongly support it, some theories do propose that a significant portion of Earth's volatile compounds and building blocks might have formed closer to the Sun or within Earth's own vicinity.
So, the idea isn't necessarily that all of Earth's water or organic material must have come from asteroids, but rather that asteroids were a significant contributor, and perhaps a crucial one for certain complex organics.
Precisely. The Bennu findings don't necessarily negate other potential origins, but they do underscore the incredible diversity of formation environments for these crucial molecules. It suggests that there were multiple pathways for these essential building blocks to arise, both extraterrestrially and potentially within Earth's early environment.
It seems like the more we learn, the more complex and interconnected the story of our origins becomes. The OSIRIS-REx mission and the analysis of Bennu samples aren't just telling us about one asteroid, they're revealing a much grander narrative about the chemistry of the early solar system and the sheer abundance of life's ingredients.
It's truly a testament to scientific ingenuity and curiosity. The ongoing analysis of Bennu samples continues to rewrite our understanding of the early solar system, offering profound clues about the ingredients that shaped our planet and potentially seeded life. And these are just the initial findings. There's so much more to learn from these precious samples.
It makes you wonder what other secrets those tiny asteroid fragments are holding. The idea that a 4.5 billion year old rock from space could hold the key to understanding how life began on Earth is genuinely awe inspiring. It's a powerful reminder that we are intrinsically connected to the cosmos.
It absolutely is, and every new discovery from missions like OSIRIS-REx just adds another layer to that incredible story, pushing the boundaries of what we know about life, the universe, and everything in between. The recipe for life might have been written in the stars, and we're just now learning to read it.